3 more horrifying true highway scary stories.
This happened in June of 2020, back when the pandemic was in full swing. Like everyone else, I was spending a lot of time inside. I wanted to get out and had the idea of going camping. 6 of us planned to go. We found a really nice looking spot on Google Maps that was alongside a lake. It was 5 hours away. We decided to take 2 cars since we couldn't comfortably fit all of us with all of our stuff in just one. In the first car was me, my sister's friend Hannah, and a guy Hannah brought named Jack, who I didn't really know if it was her boyfriend, just a friend. I didn't know and I didn't ask.
Was some random guy.
The second car had my cousin and her.
I'm not being funny, but if I'm going camping, I need to know who everyone is, not just some random guy. That guy could be a serial killer. I don't know.
Husband Josh. We packed up.
Yeah, Kat, I'm the same. I'm already sus on Jack. Jack did it. I don't know what happened, but Jack did it.
The cars and started making the long journey through the mountains around 3 a.m. so we could get to the spot early that morning. The drive started out normal, but about 2 hours into it, Jack started complaining about how sick he was starting to feel. Which was fair, the roads were windy. I asked him if he wanted me to pull over, and he said not yet. Jack was sitting in the backseat with Hannah. I kept glancing up at him through the rearview mirror to see how he was doing. The last thing I wanted was a pool of vomit all over my back seat. As I looked, I started to notice him acting really suspicious all of a sudden. He had his hand in his backpack and a grin on his face. He started asking really weird questions. He asked me if my car doors were locked. I replied saying they were, that they automatically lock when the car goes into drive, like pretty much every car does these days. My sister and I exchanged weird looks with each other. Eventually, he told me he was going to throw up. I offered to pull to the side of the highway, but he insisted I take this dirt road that he somehow knew was coming up.
What?
I called my cousin in the other car behind us to tell her what we were doing. Jack proceeded to lead us down a dirt road that barely had enough room for our cars to fit through the trees. Multiple times I asked him if this was good, but each time he told me to keep going.
No. Hey, Jack is hellas. Bro, if Jack was telling me to do this, I'm saying, buddy, you're about to throw up. I ain't coming off the highway. I'm pull up to the side and you can throw up there. Why do you need to go deep into the forest?
I shot multiple concerned looks towards my sister. Finally, Jack told us to stop. He got out of the car and ran into the woods.
Yo, why do you need a good location to throw up?
Disappearing almost immediately. We couldn't see anything, only what was in front of us lit by our headlights.
Just leave him. Just go.
2 minutes went by.
Just go.
3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Nothing. Suddenly, 3 men came out from the trees on our left. They were wearing those masks from the Purge movies.
Oh my God.
It was dark, so I couldn't tell, but it looked like they were holding weapons.
Oh my God.
I laid on the horn and started driving forward where I would have enough room to turn around. My cousin in the car behind us did the same. As we were driving off, I caught another look at the men. They were just standing there, watching us. We made it about 100 feet when I noticed something on the road in front of us.
I don't know if you guys are the same, but Jack was with that Hannah girl, yeah? I'm kicking her ass out too. You're gonna bring a psycho to our camping trip? You could deal with him. Your house, you go with him as well. You brought him, man. You could deal with that.
It was a spike strip. I quickly got out of the car and threw it off the road into the forest. I got back in, looked in my rearview mirror, and now saw the men full-on sprinting towards us. I put the pedal on the floor, and we made it back to the highway minutes later. I got a call from my cousin who sounded frantic, asking who those men were. I told her we had no idea, but that Jack never came back from out of the woods. Hannah later found out she got a text from him. It was 2 words, F you.
What?
We started questioning Hannah how she knew Jack, because like I said, I didn't know if it was her boyfriend, friend, or what. She said she had met him on Tinder a couple weeks back. We went through his profile and saw immediate red flags. This guy was trying to lead us into the woods to possibly kill us.
Wait. You brought a guy to your friend's camping trip that you've known for like a week and a bit. 2 weeks randomly from Tinder. That soon. Damn, people have a lot of trust in people. You don't really know someone after a week. It could be a proper weirdo.
My sister cut ties with Hannah not long after this. We don't know if she ever talked to Jack again, but for her sake, I hope she didn't. We ended up canceling that whole trip.
Idiot.
Let me start by saying I've always really enjoyed road trips. I'll sometimes take them just for fun, listening to music and getting lost. It's usually just over the weekend or so. I go with my dog Zeke and usually spend the night in a cheap motel if it ends up being a multiple day thing. A few nights ago, I was taking another one. On my way back, I'd left later than I usually would. I started nodding off and realized I wouldn't make it to the next town, much less my house. The road I was on was surrounded by a dense forest, so when I found a clearing in the trees, I pulled off the highway onto the dirt. I was planning on sleeping in my car, but I honestly didn't know if it was legal or not, so I continued driving through the trees until I couldn't see the road anymore.
Guy.
I let Zeke out to do his business and reclined my seat all the way back. When he got back inside, I closed and locked the doors. To describe where I had parked, it was opposite a small cabin, but not directly in front of it. And again, there were plenty of trees, so I didn't feel like I was intruding on the owners in any way. Plus, at least from what I could see, it looked abandoned anyway, so I'm not sure anyone even owned it. After a few minutes, I started drifting off. I must have been sleeping for at least a few hours when I woke up to Zeke softly growling under his breath.
Uh-oh.
I sat there listening, trying to understand what he was hearing. Just then, I began hearing footsteps coming from outside the car.
Uh-oh.
This was followed by a long, high-pitched scratching sound. Zeke started going crazy, barking non-stop. I turned on my headlights and saw a very tall, middle-aged man dragging what I thought was a key around the perimeter of my car. He walked very slowly. I didn't know if he could see me, but it felt like he didn't take his eyes off of me the entire time. He had this malicious grin on his face. Horrified, I adjusted my seat back upright and started the car ready to gun it.
A crazy motherfucker.
But he made his way to my front bumper. All other sides of my car were surrounded by trees. The only way out of there was through him.
Run him over then.
I yelled out and laid on the horn, Zeke still aggressively barking.
Just run him over.
That's when I saw that he was holding a butcher's knife. He started walking to my driver's side door, giving me an opening. I took it and started driving back towards the highway.
Wait. What is it? Bro, what's going on in my ears right now, bro? What's this music? Yo, I'm trying to listen to his story, but all I'm hearing is... Like, bro, what's going on in my ears, man? It's messing up my head.
The sides of my car were surrounded by trees. The only way out of there was through him. I yelled out and laid on the horn, Zeke still aggressively barking. That's when I saw that he was holding a butcher's knife. He started walking to my driver's side door, giving me an opening. I took it and started driving back towards the highway. I drove home without stopping. I got out to check the damage, and my paintwork was completely ruined.
Damn.
I don't know if that guy was trying to teach me a lesson for parking on his property, or if he even owned the property, I don't know. I don't plan on ever sleeping in my car again, at least not in a remote area. When I was a senior in high school, me and a couple buddies used to drive out to a cemetery to do some late-night ghost hunting and mess around. We lived near a small town in Vermont, so there wasn't much else to do.
I should do it for fun.
We'd walk around and take photos and videos, but never captured anything unordinary. If you haven't been to Vermont before, most of the roads are very long and windy. We live deep in the middle of the woods, where there are no streetlights, and houses are like a mile or two apart from each other. The road to the cemetery itself is probably about a 20 to 25 mile two-lane road, with just a few old-looking run-down houses. The atmosphere alone is already creepy enough, even without the cemetery. Anyway, my two friends and I were on this one trip up there around 2 in the morning. It took a good 30 minutes to get there. We were about halfway when this car comes up behind us out of nowhere and starts riding dangerously close to us, like to the extent that I couldn't even see its headlights. We couldn't make out the car or anyone inside of it, but we slowed down, assuming it's a state trooper or something. They slowed down too, keeping almost the exact same distance. I sped up again.
Tailing you.
Still, they kept the same distance. That's when they turned off their headlights.
Weird.
Now, remind you, there are no streetlights on this road. It's pitch black. I get up to about 20 or 25 over the speed limit, and finally we start to gain some distance. At this point, we think we lost him, when about a minute later, his headlights come back on, and he's right behind us again.
Mad.
Then his headlights go out. About 20 seconds, they come back on, and he's directly behind us again.
What? He's playing
He does
games.
this about 3 or 4 times. I tried to ignore it, thinking it was just some idiot driver in a hurry. Finally, as we near the exit for the cemetery, the car starts to let off. We turned into the cemetery, parked, and got out to start walking around.
Oh, I bet the cars followed them.
We were walking for maybe a minute when a set of headlights pulled up right behind our car and stopped.
Yep.
Now, mind you, it's 2 a.m. No one else should have been out here. The three of us each ducked down behind a headstone and watched.
Fuck that.
2 masked men got out of their vehicle, both with some type of blunt object in their hands. My heart sank. If we had to run, I don't know how we would have in the dark forest with the little light we had. I could feel my heart racing inside my chest as we all looked at each other with terrified expressions.
Nah, that would be so scary,
The
bro.
2 men walked up to our parked car and started looking inside the windows with flashlights. They then began trying to break into the car by tampering with the driver's side door's lock. They routinely looked up and checked their surroundings. After a few minutes, they seemed to have given up and started smashing at the door's window. It shattered after 2 or 3 good hits. One of the men got inside and started trying to hotwire the car. The car wasn't the newest by any means. It definitely was possible to hotwire the thing. I sat there, praying they wouldn't be able to. It must have been 20 minutes when they gave up. They took everything out of the car, put it in their car, and drove off. Before getting out of our hiding spots, we called the police. When they arrived is when we finally revealed ourselves. We lost hundreds of dollars worth of camera gear that night. One of my buddies lost his whole camera, while the rest of us all lost things like tripods, camera lenses, and other gear. The cops took all of our statements and got photos of the car's broken window. One of the officers told us how common it actually is for people to get victimized and have their cars stolen by force on these empty highways during these hours.
Oh, really? Nah, that's actually hella scary, though. Like, you just getting tailed up and then... Wait, if they didn't stop, though, how would they have gotten them to stop? Bro, that's scary, though, man. I'm telling you, don't get out your car for no one when you're driving in weird places. Mate, if I was driving in a road that didn't have lights or anything and it wasn't... I ain't stopping. Even if you're in front of my car, I ain't stopping. Not a chance, mate. Not a chance.